This week's topic is on crucial conversations and power in action, and very important for me as a student and as a leader, learning the different techniques. The goal for me is to be able to understand what I'm saying, to be self-aware, but know the dynamics that exist within the crucial conversations, but also how power takes effect with this. This is for the MBA 542-81A, and I will have a link to YouTube on the whole video after the slide. My name is Kwabena Apomah. Thank you. So, for me to get a sense of what my strengths are, I had to do a number of online tests just for me to get a sense and link the relative between what I feel are my strengths, but also what my strengths are. So, in completing a number of different online sources, I got a number of different results, and as you can see on the board, I highlighted where my strengths and where my weaknesses were, and some of it surprised me a bit in terms of what I was neutral on, in terms of just key crucial conversations. Developing empathy, I was neutral, but some of my weaknesses were active listening and my ability to compromise on certain issues. And I thought that was key. And for me, that was almost an ego check, a self awareness in terms of what I could do better in terms of my own personal development. Looking at the chart, it gives an idea of the strength and weaknesses, but also the area determines where I am leaning towards for my own growth. Next, I looked at, okay, to grow in the world of crucial conversations, how can I change? And how can I develop those key results? So, in doing a number of online assessments, but also having a personal reflection for me to be self aware, I realized that I scored high in certain areas in terms of developing connections, trust of clients, timing, um, techniques, whereby uh, one area I scored low was the act of preparation, which was that methodical planning and research to understand the negotiation landscape and anticipate any challenges. And that is where one area whereby I scored low in on a number of different websites, and then realized that for me as an individual, I need to spend more time to understand the subject matter, do my research properly, remove that ego from it, but also truly understand my place in the whole environment and what I'm doing to be more effective as a leader. So, how do I change? What can I do? The number of areas that we're going to talk about that is relating to me in particular, it's that I need to understand that in areas of crucial conversation, it is not planned, and as such, you are reacting to the process, and as such, you need to be able to remove the emotions from the picture to be calm, and I need to be able to speak in order for the person to understand what I'm doing, and I need to realize that. I also, like I said from the first slide, I need to get the facts right, which is key in the preparation, and let the facts lead the conversation. And a big part of it is also I need to know my emotions and I need to know what to do in order to relay a clear picture and watch for those emotional cues, which is very important for any negotiation that you have. Leading on the same point of change is that how do I get my points across while maintaining that open communication and keeping that individual safe? And that's one thing that I need to consciously work on. I also need to find more ways to find a connection with my whoever I'm negotiating, whether it is a team or a group, one individual. I need to find ways we can connect on, whether it is outside, inside, personal, emotional, business for us to just have that base common ground, for us to have an alignment across the board in that safe environment. But one of the key points that comes back to doing the research is that I also need to ensure that what I'm seeing and hearing are linked, because I could also say a number of key elements, one, two, three, four, five, but that doesn't mean the audience is going to hear the same thing. So I need to work, and that's something that, and it takes a lot of growth to acknowledge that. And I need to keep on working on it to build that consistency in terms of this is what I'm saying, but it's not just what is coming out of my mouth, but this is how I want the audience to understand and appreciate what I'm doing and what I'm saying. The last of how can I change is looking for that agreement, looking for that verbal and non-verbal cues and agreements across the board as you're having those. Sometimes negotiations are done over the phone or on video, and you don't get to see each other one on one, and it removes that human connection. So visual connection. So having those cues is important, but one of the key building blocks is also agreeing on that continuous improvement and what the next steps are. Is that common ground? Even if we don't agree on everything, we must agree on something in terms of what the next step looks like, how we're going to communicate, when we're going to meet again. And these are key continuous improvement steps that we can put in any conversation just to create a baseline. Uh, when I review my negotiation skills, there are a number of things that I need to work on, and one of them is my communication skill. Key to this point is my ability to get my information across in a manner that the individual, when they hear it, they will truly understand what I'm saying and be translated in the way I want it to come out. The second piece of it, which ties to what I'm saying, is that active listening skill, which I need to develop more for me to understand what the individual is saying, but also for me to for it to be able to translate it so that the individual or the organization or the team truly understands what I'm saying and how it makes sense to them. Finally, we look at the dynamics of power in the organization and power in negotiation and power in communication and power from a position standpoint. And um, from the learnings this week, I have realized that the use of power in negotiation and crucial conversation is very important. How it influences the whole dynamics of how everything comes to play in terms of what we're trying to get across and our position as subject matter. The goal of power is to use it very subtly without the intended recipient realizing that you have that perceived use of power. Otherwise, it changes the whole dynamics and how they respond to you. Power has the innate ability to influence, control, and influence that bargaining position as it affects how we are cooperating with each other. And the amount of influence we can exert on an individual or organization or party without affecting the proceedings. Uh, as such, power must be worded very carefully, uh, but only when it benefits both parties and seeks to move an agenda or a common goal across very carefully. And that is just a viewpoint, which I need to develop more for myself as an individual. Key to this is the learning. How do we change? How do I develop it? All the books I'm reading, the conversations, the assessments. One of the things that I'm realizing is that in reading is that I need to remove my ego, my self-conscious bias for me to move forward and to realize what my strengths and weaknesses are and how to harness them. The next is that continuous assessment. Uh, Keep on reading, keep on evaluating, keep on having conversations, chatting people. But this is not just a one-time thing. This is something that goes beyond today, tomorrow, the course, whereby whatever I do is going to impact whether it's a negotiation for a procurement contract or for a promotion or just having a conversation for my kids. It's just that negotiation piece is key in all aspects of life. But the last point I want to say is that self-realization, is that self-awareness. And that I believe is the next step. And that is for me to be able to just be self-aware of my thoughts, my words, my feelings, my emotions, and be able to pull myself from almost that outer body experience and have that bird's eye view and realize the ability to self-control and connect the dots together and be able to be malleable and flexible to react and change within the conversation to get the most out of not for yourself only, but for the party, which is very key and very important in a negotiation. And from this, we'll go to the final stages, which we just talk about the number of references that I have. So for references, there are a number of key references that have influenced it, and the references come from a point of not only crucial conversations, but that self-realization and those self-assessments that one would require in order to be more more in tune, but also more effective as a communicator within the work environment.